A victory today.
Yellow jersey, and there he is at the start of today's stage of the Tour DuPont. And today, Davis Finney, well, if Lance comes through it well, he'll know he'll win this race, I think.
No question about that. Tony Rominger would like to change that, I think.
Would.
It's unfortunate that, again, it's raining at the start.
And this is the route they face, another stage of 110 miles, but 8 mountain climbs on the way. It is a tough stage. Riders who've trained over this course, they say it takes up to 8 hours to ride. They'll be at least 2.5 hours quicker today. 92 men on the rollout.
And you just see the rain. It's not the best thing for morale. It's one thing to start a race, it's sunny, it's nice, and then the weather comes in. That doesn't bother you so much, but it's very hard to get out of the car, get on the start line when it's just pouring down rain. It is no fun just to get soaked right off the line.
Well, the rain has eased a little bit. At 6 a.m. this morning, it was torrential. It's eased a little bit, and the story is the sun is shining on top of Beach Mountain. Well, that'll be the first time in the 4 visits the race has had there. It's usually been cold and very cloudy. But it would be the irony of the day, and very welcome indeed by the riders. Goodbye to Bristol, the state side of Virginia and Tennessee, with the state line right down the center there of State Street.
You would think they would start attacking fairly directly here just to get this stage going. We saw yesterday a good break, go away, make some time on Motorola, and I'm sure there's some teams in here that would like to do that. There's about 2 plans going on. One is to stay with Festina, who have a big mission to get in control of the team standing, and the other plan is try to get ahead of Motorola. So various teams have various plans out there.
Well, a chance to feel the spray in the face. Once they're thoroughly wet, of course, they get to feel a little bit happier. It's the nasty bit is feeling the rain first off, isn't it, Davis?
No, it's just no fun because you got the road grit right in your face. The other problem is once they warm up, they've started with so many clothes on, you've got to gradually peel it off. And you said that the sun was coming, and so you put up this hot liniment all over your legs because of the rain. The sun comes out, it literally bakes your muscles.
Freddy Echeverry there is having a great tour too. He lies 8th overall, the teammate, of course, of Tony Rominger on the Mapei team. Mapei, Festina, Motorola, these have been the 3 strong teams in this year's race, and they're having a little bit of an in-battle too for the King of the Mountains competition as well. At the moment, Tony Rominger is leading there, and Bart Bowen, who in 1995 won the Ann Arbor Festival of Cycling, now looking for a chance to break clear. Former champion of the US, Bart Bowen.
This move worked yesterday well for them. They had Steve Bauer up front. They're trying to get something going again. Motorola doesn't really want to see a big group go away. They don't care if 1 or 2 guys go out, but they would just as soon not have a big group get too far off the front today.
Another Festina man, David Blaser, who's had a great tour as well. This is the Festina team that will go to the Tour of Italy after the Tour DuPont ends. The Saturn boys are seeing here Scott Mercier, a quarter of an hour down at the moment. Well, he trained over this exact route with his Saturn teammates a couple of months ago, and it took them 8 hours to ride the route from start to finish. And so they know exactly what lies ahead on the road today, and it's not pleasant. Let's hope the weather does liven up. Well, the King of the Mountains battle so far has been a great battle between a number of men, and as the fishing goes on, let's have a look at the overall standings in the King of the Mountains. There we are, right at the top of the leaderboard. We have Tony Rominger just a couple of points ahead of Pascal Hervé. And in the team standings too, it's a great battle against the top 3 teams I've just mentioned, Mapei, Motorola and Festina. They are the teams who are watching each other today like hawks. And so the fishing goes on, and the rain goes on as well, Davis, and the race, well, there the race goes over the top of the bridge. 92 riders left of the 112 men who set out from Wilmington in Delaware. I think by the end of the day, the field will be even smaller. The 1996 Tour DuPont is being brought to you by Fresca, the official soft drink of the US cycling team. By US Air, the official airline of the Tour DuPont. By DuPont Coolmax, the high-tech fabric that keeps you dry and comfortable. The race is in beautiful Tennessee countryside. It's heading for North Carolina. It's hills all the way today. Lance Armstrong will feel if he survives today as the yellow jersey, he could win this tour when it finishes in Marietta on Sunday. An attack is underway. Kirk Willett is going clear with Scott Mercier. We'll be back to see how they get on.
Steve Young for Power Bar.
When I was really young, I could eat anything I wanted and still have energy to burn.
But now, to get my body to perform, it takes real food. Power Bar is a balanced combination of all the low-fat, healthy foods my body needs for the energy to perform at its peak every day. And it not only works great, it tastes great. So even though I'm not as young as I used to be, I still have energy to burn. Power Bar. Be ready.
If you can do this, you can make wood beautiful with Minwax. And if you can do this, you can give wood lasting protection. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
Hurry into Pep Boys, where right now you can get any 4 all-season 35,000-mile tires for just $109. Any size, any 4 35,000-mile tires in stock, $109. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
All right, son.
Poultry police.
We got reports this here Long John's is serving tender, old white batter-dipped chicken filet.
59 cents each.
Nobody prices poultry at that price, pal.
Long John Silver's does.
It's the 59-cent chicken sale at Long John Silver's.
But most of this airline's fleet is modern enough to meet those quieter standards 5 years ahead.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 1996 Tour DuPont. The riders spending their final day in the high mountains as they head towards the finish now at Beech Mountain itself. 2 American cyclists heading the charge today. Kirk Willett of Nutrafig Colorado Cyclist, and the other rider from Saturn is the rider who we think could do a great ride today, Scott Mercier. But those 2 riders, Davis Finney, are a long way from the finish. Have they gone too soon?
You could say that. I think they would like to have a little bit more help. Yesterday we saw a good group of riders go away, but it was 6 strong.
Yeah.
Only 2 riders. It's a bit far, but it's a good move anyway. Scott Mercier has done well in this stage in the past. He's won the climber's jersey in this competition,
Right.
so he'll be looking to pick up points. But I think it's going to be more of a competition for the stronger team, stronger climbers. Mapei and Festina both have great riders for the mountains, and they're in a pitched battle for the overall team title. Also, probably the last day for Motorola to really have to defend Lance Armstrong. If they get him through the mountains here, they should be free and clear.
And let's remind ourselves, the last 2 years we've climbed Beech Mountain, the winner has been the same man. His name, Lance Armstrong. And there he is, Davis, fueling up with his power bar for the day because he knows it's a big test day today.
Lance feels pretty good. He had a day off, so to speak, yesterday because they didn't have the difficulty in the pace nor the climbing. All he's got to do is have the team pace and pace fairly gently because there's just 2 riders up the road here, Scott Mercier and Kirk Willett. This is the first time we've seen Kirk Willett on the front. He's been a little bit sick, but he rides for the Nutrafig Colorado Cyclist team. And, you know, they were a last-minute entry in this race, but they've done very, very well. One of their riders, Chris Horner, is in the top 15 overall, 4th best American.
He's having a great season. He won in Athens in Georgia just before he rode the first Union Grand Prix there, where he finished 3rd. Now he's come to this race. He's been very much part of the scene with his Nutrafig Colorado Cyclist team. And it's good to see a new team making progress against such experienced teams as Motorola, who now have the whole squad on the front here to look after their Queen Bee, Lance Armstrong.
And this is such a perpetual sight in this race. The guys have to be getting a little bit tired. Lance, relatively fresh because he's just on such dynamic form. But the men have been on the front for Motorola for the entire event, all the way since back to Richmond. So this day will challenge them. There's no question about this. And these 2 guys are an interesting pair because Scott Mercier is one of the taller men in the peloton, and Kirk Willett may well be the shortest. And so the interesting aspect of that is just Kirk Willett gets a fairly good draft, but I don't know if Scott Mercier doesn't lose out in the bargain.
Well, I saw Mercier win 2 great races in South Africa. Their 2 biggest races over there in February and March, the Tour of South Africa and the Tour of the Cape down in Cape Town. He's got good form. Here's his happy teammate, Steve Bauer. He won the Powerbar Most Aggressive Rider yesterday with a fabulous show of strength because he finished second on the stage. I think he should have won it, but he made the mistake of looking over his shoulder and leading out the top sprinter of the breakaway, Colonna of Italy.
He also saved his team manager from getting a completely bald haircut because Tom Schuler had told the team last week that if they won a stage, he would shave his head. So Bauer losing saved Tom Schuler a little bit of a
I would think it's probably the first time a team manager was hoping he wasn't going to win.
Trent Klausner there also in the break yesterday. He's had a good race this whole way through.
Well, moving down the road a ways, we're now at the DuPont Coolmax Sprint, the first challenge of the day, 28 miles covered at Elizabethton. And taking it out is Kirk Willett for the Nutrifig Colorado cyclist team. These two riders really working together. They'll share the prizes along the road as best they can because their main objective, of course, is to pick up big time over the field. At the moment, they've built themselves a lead of around about 1 minute and 30 seconds over the field.
And you've got the three Rabobank riders just rolling off the front, virtually a gimme for Leon Van Bon to get the third place sprint points for towards his title, which he is just marching onward for the Coolmax Sprint jersey. And also for Scott Moniger up the road, you know, he's been a king of the mountain in this event several years ago. So if he stayed away all day, he might springboard right to the top of that chart in the GT Bicycles KOM class.
He might well do. And here taking the third place is Leon Van Bon. He's making that Coolmax leader's jersey his own. The rider behind him, Bogert, is a teammate, but they wear different colored jerseys because Leon Van Bon has the leader's shirt on as the Coolmax leader. He gets the third place points and he's running away with this competition now with almost twice as many points as anybody else in it. Anyway, we head on to the climbs now into beautiful countryside here in Tennessee. We're heading up towards Jenkins Mountain, and when we get there we'll have covered 39 of the 110 miles, and these two riders have set the trend since about 3 miles out. They went clear 3 or 4 miles out from the start in Bristol, and now they've got their lead up to almost 5 minutes. So is the winning break on, or will they come back before we get to Beach Mountain? We'll find out soon.
Tired of gambling with your house payment every month? Then maybe now's the time to dump that.
The most trusted name for quality floor coverings is McCrory Interiors. Our reputation is built on reliable professional sales, installation, and service after the sale. It's why we've been selling floor coverings for over 40 years. And our large selection of quality name brands offer our customers a wide choice.
Expect the best in sales, installation, and service after the sale that only 40 years of experience has to offer.
So shop one of McCrory Interiors' 3 locations and save today.
Every week, Barron scours the investment world for growth opportunities. With comprehensive coverage of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, everything that could affect your finances. Subscribe with your credit card now and get 17 weeks of Barron's for the price of 13. That's 4 more opportunities to turn money into wealth. Get 17 weeks of Barron's for only $37. That's
everything that happens in the world of motor racing. Drive with us. RPM tonight, the ultimate wrap-up of the day that was in the world of motor racing. Monday through Friday at 7 and Sunday at 8, only on ESPN2.
And we're deep into the beautiful wooded scenery here of Tennessee as we head towards North Carolina on stage 8 of the Tour DuPont. Motorola in control at the front, over the top of Jenkins Mountain, which is now behind the riders. Mercier beat Willett. Rominger was best of the main field, so conserving his lead for the moment at least in the King of the Mountains competition. We're now heading, of course, Davis, towards the second climb of the day, which is Stone Mountain. That'll be with us at 43 miles.
And this is it for the climbing days. Tony Rominger having a big battle with the Festina rider Hervé. Very close for them, those two riders. Kirk Willett's a strong rider from the Northwest. I've raced against him when back when he was an amateur, and he was always breaking our legs on climbing. We're going, who is this guy? And it's terrific to see that he's turned professional. He's gotten on a team. Nutrifig Colorado Cyclist does not have a lot of funding. I figure the day rate for these guys is fairly meager. But, you know, they've really come into the race, and they're making an effort to get out front and be a part of it, despite the fact that they're racing against the best teams in the world.
Well, it's nice to see, and it's nice to see too that two American riders are not afraid to go out on the attack on what is, everybody's agreed, likely to be the toughest stage of this year's Tour DuPont by the time we get to the top of Beach Mountain. Kirk Willett first over the top of Stone Mountain. That was only a 4th category climb. That is the lowest of the gradienting climbs. The highest is a 1st category tag, and of course that is Beach Mountain. There's also a 1st category climb today at Carver's Gap, which is still ahead of these riders. In fact, it's about 30 miles ahead of them if they can survive. The time gap is hovering around 4 minutes, so they're still in with a chance of keeping the breakaway going. They're not doing too much overwork, and that's important, Davis. There's so far still to go.
And so many long climbs. If you look at the profile of this race, it just stair steps up all the way to the finish on Beach Mountain. They've got a tremendously long climb at Carver's Gap, which goes to the highest point in this year's Tour DuPont. It's all the way at 5,500 feet.
And now on the climb of Iron Mountain, over the top goes Scott Mercier at the top of Iron Mountain now, 50 miles covered, and Willett gets 2nd place here. So they're sharing the dollars on offer out on the course today.
I saw a nice sign on the road for Phil Liggett there.
I never saw that.
You've got some fans. They expected you out to be doing the bike today. I think the weather put you off the bike.
The weather did put me off, Davis. I like to ride ahead of the race by about a week and a half, then I'm sure of getting to the finishing line before them. Anyway, Scott Mercier still riding very solidly, and it's nice to see Scott now getting a little bit of confidence out here. I know that Scott would love to be part of the Olympic team, as he was in 1992 when it was in Barcelona and Scott was an amateur rider. Anyway, a little bit of a breather and a chance before they start the descent again. The next big climb comes at Fork Mountain, then we go on to Carver's Gap. Everything being done right by Motorola. They're nursing Lance Armstrong. They're keeping him safe. It's up to the other riders in this race now, like Pascal Hervé and Tony Rominger, to attack Lance Armstrong, because if they don't, then they won't beat him, will they? And we'll take a quick break as well.
You can be cool if your feet are in a sweat.
You may leave North Carolina once you've finished vacationing here. But one thing's for sure. North Carolina will never leave you.
I got started 1970, and like every young kid, Arnold Palmer fan. So they had the Bob Hope Does the Classics. I said, I'm gonna go down and take a week off and go down and watch the tournament. Bought a ticket to get in. The caddy master came out and he says, you want a caddy today? And I says, yeah. He says, okay. You wait here by the putting green for a while. I'll be back in about a half hour. So I caddied for Billy Johnson my first time. Been out here ever since. It fascinates me. I love it.
And welcome back. We still have something like 5 mountains still to come on today's stage of the Tour DuPont. 2 riders are turning out to be the stage heroes at the moment. Kirk Willett of Nutrafig Colorado Cyclist and Scott Mercier of the Saturn Racing Team. They've been out in front now since the opening miles, which was in the rain. Happily now the sun is out.
They're going to be feeling good, but they're going to be getting tired. And it looks like Scott Mercier is just leaving Kirk Willett behind. So Kirk Willett is cooked. He's done for the day. He made his effort, but, you know, he said he was sick, and he's off the back now. So Scott Mercier is going to need some support. I doubt he has the strength to go the whole way by himself. And we're also coming up to a very difficult climb on Iron Mountain, which we may see the pack split up.
Well, I'm sure word will reach very quickly, Team Motorola. The 2 leaders have broken up. They've been in the front for the best part of 60 miles. Scott Mercier now really is in a difficult situation. He can't really expect to hold off the whole field with something like 50 miles still to race. There's the Saturn team and Rennie Wenzel going by. And it looks as though we've got Daniel Nardello here coming into the picture as well now. So the situation at the front is changing and help is at hand. 9.50 behind overall, Daniel Nardello, but he is a very good rider and finished 5th overall in this race 1 year ago. And up behind him there is Arenas of the Festina team. So the big teams are sending out their riders now to try and draw the sting of Lance Armstrong.
And it could be that these two men are springboarding for their teams to come up. Obviously, Pascal Hervé and Tony Rominger would like to come forward at the end of this race. And perhaps Festina and Mappé just feel like we've got to get ahead of Lance Armstrong, because when we start the final climb with him, he leaves us behind. But the other thing is that these two teams are in a pitched battle for that overall team leadership. So they're not going anywhere without each other, and there's Scott Mercier coming back quite quickly to them.
So Scott, if he's got the legs left, will welcome the sight of these two strong riders coming up to him, because they've got great support back in the race as well. 3 very good teams now blocking at the back to try and support these 3 up front. Saturn, Festina and Mappé. Scott is digging in, and I think he's going to try and join them. So there's 3 riders. There's the face of Tony Rominger. Well, he's got 2 things to look forward to at the end of this stage. One is just the next valley across. There is a town called Rominger, and the other one is his wife comes off holiday from Florida and will be up to see him tonight as well.
I don't know if he's thinking about either of those right now. He's just trying to contain and keep that GT Bicycles King of the Mountain jersey on his back, and he keeps losing out. He's picking up 3rd place on each successive climb, but there's always several guys ahead. Pascal Hervé, he's the main threat at the moment to Lance Armstrong's lead.
This guy, when he signed on this morning, it was raining heavily. He had a smile for everybody. He really does enjoy being here on the Tour DuPont, and I think the crowd have responded to that. On to the climb now of Carver's Gap, 72 miles covered, and we're looking here at the Arenas at the front, I think it is, followed by, Daniel Nardello. Arenas through in 2nd place. And I'm just wondering, in fact, if Mercier has gone, Davis. I think he has.
Mercier's come off the back. That's a very, very long climb on Carver's Gap. It's not tremendously steep, but it's the longest ride of the race uphill. It's about 12 miles without a break. So you can, if you can maintain a good draft and keep your momentum, you're okay. But I think Scott Mercier, and it looks like a rider back about 200 meters back, is just done for the day.
Well, he's had a long time out there. He's been out front for about 68 miles, Scott Mercier. He lasted 8 miles longer than his partner in crime there, who was Kirk Willett. But they're both on the way back to the field now. We've got 2 different riders here, and for the long-term shot of the day, and my goodness me, look at this. This is Pascal Hervé. Who pulled the trigger on him? He just came catapulting across the gap and has joined the leaders. Now, this is a major player, and if he gets up here, Lance Armstrong has got to react. This is the rider who lies 2nd in the race.
Unbelievable move for this man to go out halfway into the stage with 4 more kills to go, try to get rid of Lance Armstrong. Great gamble, great strategy by Festina. They just must have felt that they had to get early enough that Lance would not go with him.
Rominger is best of the rest on the climb, holding on to his lead in the King of the Mountains for GT Bicycles, but my goodness me, now the cat is among the pigeons. Pascal Hervé is on the attack. He's one of 3 leaders. It's now up to Lance Armstrong to bring him back if he can. We'll come back soon.
Oh, I wanted the Fresca too. You're getting it because she got it right. No, I drink, Fresca. Forget it. Why don't you try some beef jerky? What?
Crisp citrus Fresca. It's not for everyone. It's for you.
Hey, man, can you get me a Fresca? Because this guy in there...
Tonight, hurry into Red Lobster for our incredible lobster and 18 shrimp, just $12.99. Luscious rock lobster, tender and juicy, surrounded by succulent shrimp scampi and crispy golden shrimp. So delicious. 3 terrific tastes all on one plate, plus fresh garden salad. Seafood lovers, it ends soon. So hurry in tonight for lobster and 18 shrimp, just $12.99. Only at Red Lobster.
This stain didn't hold up. You used the wrong stain. Thompson's water-sealed deck stain is made tough just for decks. 50 scuff-resistant colors, plus the superior waterproofing power of Thompson's. Thompson's is protection.
Coming up on SportsCenter, more on Brett Butler's battle with cancer and the effects of chewing tobacco. David Cohn's future in question. He's put on the disabled list for the first time ever. And we preview tonight's NBA matchup, the Magic and the Heat. Sports Center at 6:30 Eastern.
And we're back with the Tour DuPont. The big climb of Beach Mountain is still to come. Pascal Hervé has now got only one man for company. Hervé's teammate Arenas did a tremendous turn of pacemaking at the front to keep Pascal Hervé in with a shout. He's now fallen back, and it's all up to Team Motorola now to try and catch the two up front.
And just as we thought, Arenas proved to be a good advance man for Hervé. And this is probably a mistake, Lance Armstrong would admit, because he has let his main man go. The only man he really had to tail, and he took off. But I'm sure he felt that this was not going to be too much of a problem. And here Hervé is leaving Nardello, and Nardello has not done one lick of work. He sat on the guy's wheel the entire last part of the race.
What a tribute to the man that we know has great form. 110 is the gap, so Lance Armstrong is losing approximately half of his overall lead at the moment. After working for all this time for 8 days, he's now losing half of his lead to a man he really should have marked a lot more closely than this. Hervé is taking his chance and taking it well. Now Armstrong is going to have to go for it himself. Forget all the riders around him. There were 19 riders that started this climb of Beach Mountain. Armstrong had some teammates around him, Madouas, Merckx, Hincapie, Andreu. They've all more or less given up now, and Armstrong has decided it's up to him. He's gone with enough time to catch him, I think.
He certainly has to feel that. He is so comfortable on this hill. He's done incredibly well on this last climb every time he's done the race, and his team has done an amazing amount of work. They have made the pace, but they have not been able to make a dent on Hervé.
Look at Pascal Hervé on his own. This is a rider who didn't turn professional till he was about, I think, 29 years of age. He had a very outstanding amateur career, but nothing seemed to come his way to offer him the money to turn pro. He's only ever won 2 races in his short career. He turned pro back in '94. Armstrong has dropped in fact Jean-Philippe He's on his own. He's now passing Daniel Nardello, who was second on the road. It's now a one-on-one. The number 2 in the race in front of the number 1 in the race. The gap is almost exactly 1 minute.
And Hervé has shown to be the only man who is not afraid of Lance Armstrong. The man, for him to attack halfway through this race and hold to the finish will be an incredible ride if he can do it. But Lance Armstrong is not going to let him get away with it if he can affect it.
Festina really wanted this win. They've certainly deserved it. A little wave back to the following cars to say it's mine. He's going to ride up and win this. It's the 4th time he finished on Beach Mountain. It's the first time we've seen the yellow jersey have to fight so hard of Armstrong, because he's won it for the last 2 years up this mountain. But today the honours fall to one of the most popular men on the Tour DuPont. Pascal Hervé gets the victory at the top of Beach Mountain. Now the clock has started. Lance Armstrong almost 3 minutes ahead of Pascal Hervé at the start this morning. The clock counts off that 3 minutes, and by the time he gets to the line, I doubt very much he'll be more than 2 minutes overall in the lead. Armstrong knows it and must carry on the effort right to the line.
He's going to be given absolutely everything. He knows his team has ridden to the limit, and he deserves to do nothing less in their eyes.
So Armstrong, for the last 2 years, he's been the first man to sight the winner's banner up here as he comes up the climb. Today he is fighting to delay the loss of those vital seconds, because he feels after tonight surely he's going to go on to victory in the Tour DuPont. He fights for his life at the moment. The clock carries on ticking. Armstrong crosses the line. He loses about a minute. 52 seconds he's lost, but that'll do him. As he comes over the line, Lance Armstrong gets 2nd place, and now let's have a look how they finished on the stage. And what a great result. Armstrong finishing there behind Hervé, but ahead of Nardello. Rominger was in 4th place. The overall general classification: Armstrong leads by 1 minute and 58 seconds now, Hervé. Rominger is 3rd, 4 minutes 59 back. What a race. The 1996 Tour DuPont has been brought to you by North Carolina Tourism. For a vacation you'll always remember, come to a state you'll never forget. By DuPont, better things for better living. So tomorrow we are on the flatter roads again. Lance Armstrong hangs on to that lead. So watch us here on ESPN Stage 9 at 5:30 Eastern Time. On ESPN2 Friday Stage 9, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Pacific Time. The yellow jersey for Lance Armstrong, as he had here 1 year ago. Will he win the Tour DuPont? Stay with us on ESPN until Sunday to find out. For Davis Finney, I'm Phil Liggett saying goodbye.